Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm trying to go live. It's just trying to set up. Okay, so we're live.
Thank you. On YouTube, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Uh, uh, please, Amina Mohammed. Is it from you?
Yes. I think I put it on YouTube, Instagram.
Or is the link to the YouTube yours?
Oh, okay, mistake. Let me say this.
Next time.
I didn't realize you had sent another one.
So you're sharing the link to my YouTube channel, not the Zoom link.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Hi guys. I hope you can hear us. We're just waiting for more people to join, then we can get started. Hey, I think we have few people joining. Guys, this is the first time I'm doing like a live with YouTube. So I hope everything is just working perfectly. If you can hear me clearly, just let us know. Then we it's so stressful because I have to keep checking um the Zoom app and also the YouTube. Wow, this is so stressful. Okay, we'll just get started, right? Thank you so much, Nash. Thank you so much, Inaye. Thank you so much, Dabira Lawal. Thank you so much, Zainab. I hope you guys can hear us clearly. And we'll just get started with the session. Please, if there's like, if at any point you can hear us, please just let me know. Like I said, this is my first time trying to like connect um YouTube with Zoom. So I'm still learning, but I think we're good. Okay, so I think we'll just get started with the question. And I think I also want us to just start with like some fun questions before we go straight to like the reason why we are here, right? And thank you so much, Hauwa. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I've always
Yes,
wanted,
yes,
oh, okay. I always wanted to ask that. Is that how you pronounce your name?
yes,
I
yes.
know sometimes people get turned off when their names are not pronounced correctly.
No,
Okay.
that's the pronunciation of my name.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I think my first question would be, what's like the most unexpected freelance gig that you've ever taken? If there's
Okay.
any.
Okay. I have so many, but I'm just going to remember one.
Okay.
So, I used to actively do like content marketing, like content writing. I used
Mm-hmm.
to write like a lot of blog posts, and then I was working with like it's like an agency. where they
Okay.
do like so many things, software development, like different things. So and I used to actively do like content writing. So and then we had to like they were designing like a software for a blockchain company, a
Okay.
Web3 company. So and
Okay.
then I was now asked to write like white paper for a blockchain company suddenly. And if you know about like Web3, like if not now that I do a lot of things with it, it's
Mm-hmm.
like a different world on its own.
Yeah.
And so I was tasked to do that, and it was one of like the most unexpected things like I've ever done. Because I had to do like so much research. It's like something like I didn't have knowledge about like at all. I had to do
Okay.
like
Interesting.
so much research. I think that was it for me.
But it pays well too. So I think
Yes,
Web3, blockchain,
yes,
crypto,
it did, but it was like the first time ever.
they
You
look
know,
eye
like other
level to
industries that
me.
you have like knowledge about, like it was just really new. So
To be honest, I know little about that industry. So I can totally relate to you. I think my second fun question would be if you could work from anywhere in the world as a freelancer, where will it be and why?
the finance parties, I wouldn't
Please don't
say
say Nigeria.
definitely no. One of my dream country ever is has
Okay.
to be Dubai. Like it's one place that I always dream of, okay, just living in, probably because of like the tech scene, like the tech scene there. Like then I've worked with most of the people that I've worked with, most of them like are based there. And I really just admire like the way they work and the way their startup scene is just I really admire it. And recently I've noticed that most African Nigerian startups we started like everybody is going to Kigali, everyone's going to Rwanda. I think I didn't really have knowledge about that, but it's just something like I just really look forward to as well.
Interesting. I think mine is Bahrain. Right.
Okay.
My colleague went to Bahrain, I think 2019, and the way she described the place. So ever since, I've been obsessed with the country, and I think it's my dream country. Just like you
Wow.
said, the way they do their things, they have like thinking leaders, like the leaders that they've been
Honestly,
thinking what will happen in the next 20, 30 years. Like everything is planned and documented. And I also feel like maybe I'm biased. It's also a Muslim country, so I feel like it would be much easier to like live in such country.
yes.
Hey, so Dubai, Bahrain, may all our dreams come true.
Amen.
Okay, so let's get into like the video itself. I hope you guys are enjoying us. I'm also trying to like check the chat on my phone.
Thank you.
So if you have any question along the way, please feel free to drop them. I'll do my best to like check. But I think my first question would be, this is 2025. It's almost the end of Q1, and I want to become, because one of the questions I also get from a lot of people is they want to become a data analyst. They've tried like the normal route of like applying to jobs, like
Yes.
doing like a 9 to 5, but it has not been forthcoming. And I want to become a freelance data analyst. I want to understand how I can work with different clients, across different industries, across different part of the world. What would you say I should do? Or what would you do if you were in my shoe based on all the experience that you've gathered over the years? Yeah.
Okay. So I usually just like make the video on something like what you've just said, and then I'm just going to like reiterate this further. So one thing is that we just have to be very truthful with ourselves. I remembered when I started on Upwork, we don't usually use Connect to apply jobs on Upwork then. I think the only thing then was that to apply, like to open an account was harder than it is now. But then you don't have to have connects. Everything was free. And then looking back at it now, like even if you think about like a few years ago, people get jobs easily. Let's say I go on LinkedIn, it was a lot more easier like to get jobs. But right now, like it's just like everything has changed. So when it comes to like approaching it differently in 2025, there are just so many different things. It feels like networking is even just like a little bit more important than the job application itself. So
Hmm.
one thing I tell people is that the first thing is that you need to position yourself like differently
Okay.
from every other person. Talking about position yourself like differently from every other person, it's just that you need to like use different approach to applying for jobs. You cannot just come in 2025 and say, oh, I'm a data analyst. It's better for you, even companies now, they're looking for people to help them in different ways. Like, how can you help companies? Not, I'm just a data analyst. Oh, I can use data to do this sort of thing for this company. That is like a much more better approach to talk about your skill set and saying, I'm just like a data analyst. And one other thing as well now is that it's not just enough to say, because we're now in the era of AI that even companies now use like ATS tracking tools for job applications. Now, think
Okay.
about it now. It means that even if you are the most talented person, if you do not know how to apply for jobs properly, you will not get a job in 2025 because nobody has the time to go through 1,000 applications, which means what are the different ways you can use in standing out? One of them is having a portfolio. It's not something you can jump across. It's before that they will say, oh, entry level, like we'll do interviews, see what you can do. But now, like, have a portfolio, have something that showcases what you've done before so that
Okay.
people can see, okay, you can do this and all of that. Also, when it comes to like having like your resume, learn how to do all of those things like properly. And
Okay.
one of the advice I also give people is to leverage on public projects. There are sometimes I think I've seen this thing plays out differently where someone will just find like a data, for example, a data analyst, a data that is out in public and just like write about just do like some analysis analyze like some of those data. Or for example, you're a writer, like, and then you just find like from sorry something that is trending and then you write on it at that moment and then you just share your insights. People use like LinkedIn, like Medium and all of that. I think that is okay. And also when you are starting up, because you're even competing with people that are already in the industry, most of the time people do not know what you can do. They don't know like what your capability is. I know that people talk about, oh, don't work for free, don't don't charge your worth. But the truth is when you are starting out, for you to prove your worth, for you to be able to get to the point where you can say, oh, I no longer want to do this. There are sometimes that you probably need to work for free or do discounted jobs just so that you can build your testimonials, you can build work samples, you can work for people that have like pedigree so that you also stand the chance to say, oh, I've done this people is that all these low niche paying platforms, all these low paying freelancing platforms like Upwork, like Fiverr, the truth is my first full-time employment was gotten from, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. I lost you for a bit, but you're back.
Okay. My first full-time employment was gotten from Upwork, like
Okay.
first time. Yeah.
So I want us to take this step by step. We'll get to
Yeah.
Upwork, but I really liked all the things you mentioned
Okay.
around how networking is an important thing for you to do.
Yes.
And I also totally agree that it's much easier to get a data analyst job 3 years ago than now. Now you're competing with a lot more people that have more skills than you. So you really need
Honestly.
to have a lot of things that is going to differentiate you. And I really like the part where you said networking is a skill you can learn that can also help you. And I also just want to add that for networking part, there are different ways you can network, and
Yes.
you always do not have to get it 100%. Some of the ways you can network, and I'm happy for you to also share, is by attending conferences,
Yes, definitely.
following people that have been in industry way ahead of you, engage with their content online, ask questions, just be active, and also have that, which is also one of the things they said around that, have that public image so that people will know that, okay, Miriam is doing this, she's interested in data analysis. So that when there's even like a job, you're one of
Yes,
the
they
people
remind
that will
you.
come to exactly that will come to
Remind you.
mind. Yeah, so I really like that. And I hope for anyone watching, I hope you guys are also picking these tips where networking, like it's not like nice to have, right? It's just something you need to like it's a skill, it's a muscle you need to like build, you need to like train. I also like the part where you said there's a lot of AI tools that track people CV, right? So it's not enough for you to say, oh, I've taken a certification course, I've taken my portfolio. There's also that, like your CV is one of the things that will get you in front of employer. And if this tracker are rejecting your CV, there's really no way for you to, interview with them and say, oh, these are the things that I can do. And that's why optimizing your your CV or your resume is also a huge part. And I know there are also a lot of resources around this. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Google. I also have a video actually on how you can optimize your CV on the channel. So you can also check that out. And you also talked about volunteering. I know we all want money, but just like you said, volunteering and working for free at the start can help you to finally land the job pretty much faster, right? And yeah, there are also a lot of platforms for you to do that. I will do my best to list some of them, right? I can't remember them on top of my head, but I think those are like the key things I really like that you stated, right? So I think my next question would be, so I know Upwork is like one of the platforms where people use to freelance. Are there any other platforms? And also, how can someone get started on that platform? If you can also just, share with us. Thank you.
Okay. So aside from Upwork, the other platform that is really underrated, people underrate like social media generally, social media apps generally. For example, your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, and even most importantly, Twitter, because Twitter has like an active like tech community. So these four social media apps, they are quite like underrated. And which brings me to the fact that when you build like your personal brand around the skills that you have on this social media, it's a lot easier for you to your this social media can even act as like your LinkedIn account as well. So like building generally, I've seen cases of where people just say, oh, I do this on Instagram. They just post like the work that they do on TikTok. They just post and then they get job offers like from there. And most importantly, most of like using your personal brand, like building on like social media, different platforms, even Pinterest as well, even Pinterest as well, even YouTube Shorts. I have an example that I want to state that I made a video on my YouTube channel on how to build a website with Shopify. And that particular video, as personally, I only made a video on how to build, like a sample on how to build. And that particular video has actually gotten even me personally, like so many jobs, like to now on to build websites. So just to
I lost the guest. So guys, please just give us some few minutes. But if you guys are feeling what we've been talking about, please drop a comment in the chat box. Or if you also have any question, please share with us. I lost you, but I think you're back.
okay.
Yeah, and you stopped. The last thing I heard was the YouTube video you made on how to.
Yes, how to
Yeah.
use Shopify to build a website. It has brought me so many clients, that particular video. So and on TikTok, on even on Instagram, if you tell people you do this, you show like different websites you've designed, the different data that you've analyzed and all of that, it can actually bring you like potential clients as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, also just to recap, Upwork is not the only platform.
It's not even like for Upwork, it's just like I tell people like it's just when you are just starting out because truthfully, it's a low paying platform.
Okay. Do you think it's
And if
so
okay,
if you're to start now based on what you know, and the reason why I'm asking this question is also because sometimes people get overwhelmed, and most times we don't like putting ourselves out there. So which one have like a higher ROI based on your
okay.
experience? Do you think I
If I
should
would
start?
advise, for example, you're a data
Mhm,
analyst and then you're just starting out. So your
mhm.
best bet is that as you are learning, you go on Upwork to like try to get like low paying jobs. So for example, you just finished learning it because Upwork is like really niched for like different skills. For example, someone that go on Upwork to want to hire like a someone that can use Python for data that can use Excel. So you get most of those jobs there. So you're better off saying, okay, I can now use Excel, build projects on Excel, instead of branding yourself properly as a data analyst. You start to get more jobs saying, I use Excel to build this so project. I use Python to build this so project. I can use Power BI to do this.
Not
Instead
bad.
of just saying I'm a data analyst generally, because most of them are like client-facing jobs. They just write, I need somebody that can use Excel to do these things. They don't go there to say we are looking to hire a data analyst, because majorly Upwork, they go there to post projects. It's for like projects, not necessarily like a job. Like it's not you getting a data analyst role. So it's more focused on the skills that you can use in getting jobs. So our advice is start from there. And most of the time, because most companies are also tired of doing the long process of hiring, they go on Upwork. And if you actually satisfy this company, if you're not looking for like just a one-off, most of them love retainership. Nobody wants to like hire every week, every month. Most of it, you can get like a 1 year retainership. You can get a full time, but it's a lot easier than to say, oh, I'm just a beginner and then I'm starting on LinkedIn, for example.
You. I really like that. I really, really like that. And I hope you guys have picked that tip. So Upwork is a better platform to get started. And when you go there, don't just say, oh, I'm a data analyst, or you say I'm an entry data analyst. Like they do not need to like know. If there's like any core skill that you recently just learned or and you can build some project on, just specify that skill and really just double down on that skill, and that's what you should use in getting some projects, some offers on the platform. And I think that brings me to my next question around, is it quite easy to get started on Upwork? Like how does how does the process works? And I also know payment is usually like an issue. If you can also just share tips on how easy or like how technical this whole thing can be. Yeah.
First of all, I like to say nothing is easy. That's just the truth. Nothing is easy. And then I just want to state one thing, that I feel like if you are desperate to get something, sometimes you should be ready to go all out for it. I feel like that is my opinion about some of these things. So I do like Upwork, like trainings, like and all of that. And I realize that just not everybody can follow through. And that is why most people would complain that, oh, they are probably not getting jobs. So just as every other platform, one of the first major step is just to ensure that your profile is optimized, like ensure that it is optimized, because most people have this problem. And also, for example, on Upwork, people make the mistake of, for example, if your profile is not properly optimized, I call myself an email marketer and then I'm applying for an Excel role, for example, you probably not get it because even your profile is not stating that you are doing something around Excel. Another issue, major thing that people make a lot of mistake is that they go on Upwork and then they just apply for jobs without having a work sample. Even as of Upwork as well, you need to have a work sample. Nobody wants to hire somebody that they've not seen what you can do. That's just the truth. And it's even harder if, for example, you've never gotten a job on Upwork, you don't have any reviews, you're just starting out. So how can they trust you to know that you can actually do this particular thing? So if you don't have a portfolio, you don't have like any work sample, you have no business on Upwork. That's the truth. And also, one other mistake that people make is not knowing how to write proposals. When I'm talking about proposals, I'm talking about people go on ChatGPT and then just copy, paste, and then use it. Not knowing that even Upwork as a platform as well, they have like what I call like shuffling. They have like AI trackers that they use as well, where if you and this person, you go on ChatGPT, your responses are the same, and then it's cancelled. Everybody wants you to tailor your resume back to the job that they've sent to you, like the job description. So not knowing how to write proposal, and truthfully and thankfully, sorry, even Upwork, they have like their templates that can guide you to like learn how to write like proposals as well.
Sorry, what's a proposal?
Like a cover letter.
Oh, and really just selling yourself more than what
Yes,
your profile currently has.
exactly,
Got you.
exactly. You
Okay.
need to learn how to write. I want to mention one other
Yes,
strategy.
yes.
which is like the last one. So also one mistake that most people make also is that when it comes to using these platforms, there are strategies. So when you go on Upwork, most of the jobs that you find there, those recruiters or employers, they're probably United States or they are in or like
Yeah.
Middle East. And because of the time difference, if for example I want to apply for a job on Upwork and I'm in Nigeria, the best time to apply for most of these jobs are usually like midnight. Let's say from 12:30 a.m., 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m.
Mm.
and all of that. So if you don't apply for the job within this time, when you apply for the job within this time, it increases your chance of getting response, of getting hired and all of that.
Because you apply much earlier than most people.
Yes, and then they are also the quota is also online to probably do interviews for you at that time.
Got you. That makes sense. Interesting. Okay, I hope you guys are picking all of this. But I think the second part of the question I want you to ask, some people, I have some questions on YouTube, which I will also ask you, is also around like the payment. So if I get a client from US, is it much, because I know I've heard people talk about payment issues. Is that like a simple, process to do?
Okay, this 2025, and thanks to all the fintech platforms in Nigeria currently, it's a lot easier. And
Okay.
also, there are different payment options, honestly. You can use, they even do like local bank transfers, like to your regular Nigerian accounts. So,
Okay.
but the only limitation with local payments is if the bank says 900 is their dollar rate, that is how much you're getting, which is usually very low compared to when you use like fintech platforms. Another alternative is to have like a DOM account so that you can withdraw to your DOM account. You can withdraw your dollars in cash like when you need it. Because some people don't trust fintech platforms. I don't know why. And also we have the options of Payoneer as well, where you can withdraw into Payoneer. So for fintech platforms, I think one of the ones that offers like the best rates, GeekPay or Clever Bank.
Okay.
And probably personally, I trust Great Finance more than other platforms.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but for GeekPay and Clever Bank, they offer like one of the best rates, either of these two platforms. Yeah.
Got you. Got you.
But the only limitations with payment, sorry, is that if you do not do a good job, Upwork might not release your money to you. So you have to focus on delivering like a good job because they're like an extra platform. They hold your money to the client approves that you've done the job well. So I think that's the only thing.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. So
Yeah.
I'll just go straight to some of the questions. So someone asked that, can I use this same approach for that you like all the different approaches that you've listed?
Yes.
Can I also use it on Fiverr? Or like
Yes,
this
but
also
yeah.
try
But Fiverr is a bit different because on Fiverr, you are creating like project catalogs and the clients are purchasing directly, but you can still use it. So for Fiverr, if I want to, I use Fiverr, I used to use Fiverr, but if you are using Fiverr as well, one approach is going on Fiverr, looking for like top rated, because on Fiverr, you have like the freelancers part where you can see other freelancers. So go to those freelancers and see the kind of, see what their profile looks like. Because on Fiverr, for example, you have this thumbnail, you have to create like a thumbnail, you have to do like proper job description, you have to ensure you are setting the right rates because most of them they will say, oh, for basic package, advanced package, you have to ensure that you also go and search for people that have gotten like so many jobs on Fiverr and then use their own profile to build yours so that you're probably not overcharging and then clients are running away from you, or your description is not properly set because you just did it without using those people's profile, or just say, look at the way they've designed their thumbnail to see how you can use Canva to design a better thumbnail for yourself as well.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I think the second question is around so this person is asking what is a work sample. I think by that you just mean like portfolio projects, like your
Yes, yes.
project. Okay. Yeah. Oindamola, I hope that answers your question. So work sample is just like project review. So you've taken a certification course, or you've said you know how to use Excel. Is there like a project that we can see that you can actually use Excel?
Yes.
Or is there a project that you can show if you're saying you know how to use Python, right? And if you also check my YouTube channel, I actually I've worked on like some projects that you can also get started with, or where you can get free data set just to help you to like get started. And I hope that makes sense. I think my next question would be, what are some of the mistakes, right? You've been doing this thing for some years now. What are some mistakes, or like if you're restarting back, these are like the first few things you're going to like avoid. If you can just list them, two, three, or if they're more than that.
Okay. The first one is on that charging myself. When I just getting new, because you are scared to charge, you are probably thinking this $100 job, or this nobody will pay me $1,000, nobody will pay me $500, nobody will pay me these prices. And then you now take up some jobs. One mistake that I made was that there was a time where I used to, when I was working for like an agency, if you know how working for an agency, how because they have like so many clients, and then you are working like probably writing blog posts and all of that, and you have to deliver like so many blog posts. And then I would say they were paying in naira then, and then they will say, oh, for everything that you've written, probably like they'll calculate like 5 naira per word. Like I can't remember. But what it is that probably for every blog post, you are getting paid like 60,000 naira for like a single blog post. And a lot of work goes into research and all of that. And at the end of the day, you probably even under deliver because you get burnt out. The workload is too much. And you have to probably deliver like 6 blog posts in a month. And then you have to do research for each of these. Now imagine you stating that, oh, I'm charging $300 for one single blog post, even if it's two that you're able to do in a month, you are fine, you are good. Instead of just doing like so many, and then every day you are burnt out, and then you over deliver as well. And also taking on every project. Then if you message me, as long as it's a job and you're going to pay me, like I'll just say, oh, then bring it, bring it, bring it. At the end of the day, you disappoint some clients, you do rubbish work for some people, and then you just create like bad names for yourself just because you don't want to disappoint. You know, this thing they'll tell you, oh, and you don't have to disappoint these people so that they can come back next time. So like most of those things. And also, I think one of those things also was that I had like very poor communication. If, for example, like I was able to deliver like a work, I didn't know that, okay, if I tell you, if for example, you give me a job, I can promise you that don't worry, tomorrow I'll deliver it to you. And you live in Nigeria where there's electricity issue, there's data, you network my MTN might just fuck you up. And even you too, you have like personal life stuff that you're dealing with. And then you take up all of this job, and then you just realize that, why did I say 24 hours? Meanwhile, it's not even the client that is forcing you to stay that, but because you just want to over deliver, you just want to just say, oh, I can do this, I can do this. And then you just over poor communication. And then they message you 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, your job is not ready. It doesn't speak well about you. So just let them know that, okay, this is the timeline. It's 5 days, it's 6 days, it's 7 days. And if they're not ready to deal with it, let them go. I think one of the major mistakes that I made.
Wow, I really like the point that you mentioned, but I would just want you to speak more around how, like, what are the strategies, or like what are the things I need to like do to help me not like undercharge myself, or like overpromise the client, right? So like if I'm getting this, if I'm taking this project, how will I know how much like charge in a way that I'm also not sending clients away, but then I'm also not charging myself? That's one. Then the second is also just over promising clients. Like, how would I know, especially because I'm just starting, I've probably not done much projects, right? So how will I know the time it will take me in like complete, the project?
Okay. So I think the first question was that how do you know how much to charge? Although there are several platforms, although if you're in Nigeria, Sha, it might not really work 100%, talking about like using platforms like Glassdoor. But if you are like working for like foreign clients, I can say, okay, like go to Glassdoor and all of that. So most of the time when it comes to like pricing, a lot of things go into it. And when you're just starting out, just like you said, you cannot price like when you have like stayed long in the industry. But one thing I realized that when I was starting out is that sometimes at the end of the day, for example, imagine me taking up a social media management role for 50,000 naira monthly. And then I'm taking this monthly, I'm paying for data, I'm paying for lights, like probably I pay for electricity, I'm paying for this. And then now calculating that I'll apply DMs, I'll post 4 to 5 contents, I'll do this, I'll do that. At the end of the day, it's not worth it because I'm going to get burnt out. So one thing I would do in that case is that sometimes not every client can afford you, will be able to afford like your whole package. And instead of doing just whole package, one thing I've tried to do, and I always do even to now, is just to segment, have like different packages to suit like different people so that you are not undercharging, but you are charging based on what this current job that you want me to do for you. Based on it, this is what your money can afford to do. That way, you are trying to break it down into like smaller subjects, and then you don't get burnt out. For example, I don't know how to probably put it in place of like data analyst, but let's assume like I'm a social media manager. I can tell you, okay, if I'm making 4 posts for you in a month, it's 50,000 naira. But if I'm making 8 posts for you in a month, it's 80,000 naira. And if I'm making 12 posts for you in a month, is this so price. That way, for the lower package that you book for, this is what you get for that. If you book for the intermediate package, this is what you get for that. And also, majorly, although people do not like to talk about pricing in Nigeria, it's such something people don't talk about salaries. But you will
100%.
definitely find, yeah, but definitely find people that are willing to talk about, okay, how much do you charge for these things? You definitely find that's the truth. People are a
Yeah,
lot open these days. You definitely find, just ask them, oh, how much should I charge for this? People like that are older, like in the industry and all of that. And also just
yeah,
ensure that your expertise personally matches how much you want to charge. Because I've had experience of people that probably they are working for you and they feel like, okay, me too, I can charge 300,000 naira for social media management when they don't have the skill of charging that particular amount at that point in time. And also, there's also a part that even for social media management, because you don't have enough money, I can tell you, okay, we can help you to create a content calendar and help you to write your caption alone, and then you just do the posting yourself. So that way you've broken down like your packages, and then you can work for people based on like your schedule, not accordingly, you get what I'm saying. I think I can't remember the second question.
Sorry, before the second question, I also just want to add this as to like the pricing, and you're absolutely correct. I think people don't like to talk about salary, and I think that's why lately it's one of the things I talk about, right? And I think it also just ties back to like networking when you have people that are doing similar things that you're doing. It's much
Yes,
more easier for you to reach out to those people to say, "Oh, I know you work as a data analyst. Oh, I know you work as a freelance data analyst. How much do you think I should charge?" And a trick or like an hack I've used in the past that has really worked for me is I don't ask people for like the exact amount. I'll just say
yes,
give me a range, right? And when they give me a range, I would decide if I want to like stay at like the lower end of the range or I want to charge in between, right? And I hope this makes sense.
yes.
Can I remember the second question too? I'm not sure I can remember, to be honest. But guys, if you can remember, please drop it in the chat. I think I missed it also. Okay, we'll come back to it if we remember. But I really like what you said around not undercharging yourself, speak with people within your industry. Also, don't overcharge. Yeah, I remember the second question, which is around because I'm pretty new, how will I know how much time I would need to like complete a project in a way that I'm not over promising the client, but then I'm also not, you know, doing the opposite.
Okay. So I feel like this particular question, it depends on the job. That's just the first thing. It depends on what you are asked to do. And also, I forgot to mention this. Also, when you are starting out, avoid taking hourly jobs when you're just starting out. Jobs that will tell you, oh, $20 per hour, $25 per hour. avoid taking it because most of the time it can be a trap for you because you do not know how much time that you need to do any job. That's just the truth. Focus on getting like fixed project jobs that just say, oh, we are paying you $200, we are paying you $300 for this job. And I believe that if you've learned a skill and you've gotten to the point that you can start getting a job, you would know how much, okay, how much time will it take me to analyze this data? You definitely know how much time. But one thing I always do is that you add like extra days. So, but now one other thing that I do is that if a client now says, oh, I need it in 24 hours, if I tell you, oh, the minimum days for this job is 5 days, for example, and you tell me you need it in 3 days, I usually put a place to add like an option of if you want it immediately, we charge extra based on that. Most of the time, nobody wants to pay extra, so they'll be willing to give you the 5 days. That's the truth. So that way, even if you now complete it in 3 days and you submit it, it gives you more, you should be able to say, this person is so efficient, she said 5 days and she delivered it in 3 days. Instead of you saying one day and then you deliver, you cannot deliver. So you just add like extra 2 days maximum. Anything can happen. So, but then we now say, oh, I want it in 3 days. That way, you now say, oh, when you want it like impromptu, this is the amount. You will see, they will tell you, oh, no worry, just do 5 days because somebody wants to pay extra. But it's just like
Okay.
a technique of you just to be
Mm.
able to say, okay, this number of days.
I like that. And I just to like wrap up or like summarize what you just said is around, even if you know that you can complete this thing in 3 days, and if you live in Nigeria, please add some extra time
Honestly,
because your internet might disappoint you. PHCN, National Grid might fall.
ah, this week I saw Shege, this past week.
So just add some extra time so that it can still help me to like meet up with like the client's timeline. And also I think another important thing you also said, for people that might not have been, how will I put it, paying attention to this is where you're still starting out, where you're still learning all these skills. Also try like understand how much time it takes you to complete a project, right? So you want to like flex your Excel skills and you have some data sets. Try and track how much time it takes you to like get the data, to clean the data, to understand the data, to analyze the data, to put them in charts, to present them. You get, because at the end of the day, it's going to help you in like knowing how much time to like, share with the clients that their job would be ready. I think my next question would be, so we've been talking around using social media, networking. Are there like any offline, and I'm asking this because I still know some people, they cringe to put their faces
Use
on
social
social
media.
media. So do you have any tips, or like you're still a believer of like cringe but still be on social media?
Okay. So one other method that I something happened recently, I think it was like last 2 weeks. If you're opportune to have like cafe one in any location that you are, I think I think it's actually a good place to get a job, honestly.
I love Cafe One, so
Honestly. Honestly, like if you go to Cafe One in Abuja, for example, I live in Abuja, if you go to Cafe One in Abuja, just realize that this like very big people that you cannot think of. Oh no, this person that is that, oh, of this unicorn. You just see them randomly. You just see, and most of the time when you frequently visit most of these what do they call it? And people see you every time. And not be that person that would go there, just sit alone, carry your bag and go home. Be this person that when you actually go to these places, you network as well. You talk to other people, you say, oh, do you do this thing? Do you do that thing? Just it doesn't have to be cafe one, honestly. If you have like a popular workspace around you, I know that people visit, do that. Also, people do not understand the aspect the um the importance of attending all these events. I'm even usually very sad because I'm in Abuja, but even when I have opportunities to attend like events, I do attend them as well. Most of these events, you meet so many people, and don't be that person that goes to events. I recently learned this thing from one of my mentors that says, if you are in any room, you know when you go for events and that one person that is always asking questions, that is always responding to questions, be that person because most of the time it helps you because when anybody see, it was that guy that answered that question, that guy that talked at this thing. So be that person as well. And also referrals. Always ask for referrals as well. I'm going to give some examples of some industry that are related. Some industries that are quite related as well. If you're a freelancer, for example. If, for example, people that I don't know how to relate to data analyst as well, but you, I think you find a way to
And
relate it.
yeah,
Yeah. So for example, if you have like if you're a writer, for example, and you have like a website designer as a friend, most of the time when they design website, they want to write product descriptions. They want to create like a blog for these websites. A designer has no business with writing. So most of the time, if you find yourself in places where people can refer you to, like, that's why it's better to do good job, to do a good job in the first place as well. But people will be able to like introduce you to different sets of people as well. And also with offline, I remembered one point that I wanted to talk about. So I remember that there was this time that I was taking so many jobs, and then one of those jobs was actually related to like data entry, related to like Excel, like doing data entry. So I remember that at that point in time, I visited schools, I visited supermarkets, I visited hospitals, places where I know that they have their records on papers, to ask if I can help them to put it on system. This was offline as well. And I've actually even taught people this method recently, and they've tried it out, because till today we still have people that still put their records on paper. So as a data entry, I just said, oh, let me just help you. And I got paid for it. And some were even on retainership that I had to go to help them update their records like regularly as well. So
I
I
like
think
that.
I think those methods.
Okay, so I'll bring it down home. I hope I can remember everything you've said. I 100% agree on like Cafe One because I use Cafe One. I use the one in Ikeja on Ugudu. And yeah, it's definitely a good place for you to meet people in tech, people that are working in the same industry that you're looking to like get into. And it doesn't have to be Cafe One. It can be coffee shops,
Yes.
there's Cripsy and Cream, there's Wida Lagos, like there's a whole lot of them. Just and another important thing you also mentioned is like when you go, don't just go do your thing, bye bye. Like that doesn't help anyone. Try to like network with one or two person, and also just see where the connection takes you to. And I think the second thing you also mentioned, which also ties back with like just networking and having a network of people around is even as a data analyst, I have friends that are data engineers, that are data scientists, so that when
Yes.
they're also working on their projects and they need, help of like a data analyst, I'm one of the people that comes to their mind, right? And that also just ties back to like you need to build your network. You can't just rely on your portfolio projects because trust me, a lot more people have that. So you need other things that can help you to get jobs, much faster. And I think another thing you also mentioned that I really, really like, and I hope people that are watching can also relate to is even when you're trying to like look for projects, I know we have Kaggle, we have GitHub that people usually recommend. I mean, you can do that, but you can also explore offline methods. There's a big church or like a big mosque around you. There's a supermarket where all the things that they like, all the things people buy from their supermarkets, they still use like some of the processes revolves like paper. Try and talk to them and see and say, oh, you just learned this tool, you can do this for them. And also just use, those avenue, those um organizations, right, to also flex your data analysis skills. And I hope that makes sense. Um, yeah, this has been really, really, really great. I picked so many tips, and thank you so, so much for coming to the channel. So I don't know if there's like any last, like final thoughts, or if there's like a strong advice you want everyone to take home. I would just like you to share, and we can call it a day.
Okay. The major advice is that just be everywhere. I think that's my major advice. Be everywhere. It's 2025 is not just enough. Just be everywhere, honestly. Like, just try and like have like an active. For example, now, like Miriam that is here now, like when you talk about, I remember when you started like your YouTube channel, like see how far the YouTube channel has grown, like as a data analyst. No, like and like truthfully, and it's not like you don't have like a regular job at it, and it's even something that your YouTube now is like a portfolio for you that you can attach anywhere that this is what I'm doing in the data analyst industry, and it just to show that just be everywhere, honestly, and also ensure that you're doing the right things. I say this all the time. It's not enough to just apply for the job. Are you tailoring your resume? Are you doing all of these things properly? Are you doing it rightly before you complain that you're not getting any results from it? And also, people say be consistent. And it feels like, oh, it's just like one of the most popular advice, but it's just like the most important thing. Yeah, in 100 days, you'll get lucky one day. But if you stop along the way and say, because I've not gotten lucky in 30 days, I'm going to stop, you probably will never get lucky. That's just the truth. Because every single person that you feel like, oh, this person is lucky, it was like process. It was like a long process of failing, starting. So don't give up. I think that is one other aspect. And also, please, regardless of how much we've been talking about this offline, you are shy, you don't want to put yourself out there. I feel like it's actually non-negotiable in 2025 to say, oh, I'm shy. Every single person is shy. Even me, I'm shy. Miriam is shy. We are
You
all
know,
shy.
the
That's the
funniest thing,
truth.
when I tell people that I've been doing YouTube for more than 2 years and I still don't like I don't feel comfortable all the time in camera. People are like, "Ha." I'm like, no, I don't. But there's just some things you need to do, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So guys, I think one of the things I will pick from what you said, or like just like summarize, is just explore all options. Try both online approaches, but also the some of the offline strategies that we shared with you. So I just asked in the chat if anyone has any question. Okay, so someone is asking, I'm not sure you might be able to like answer this, right? So
Okay.
someone is asking if you know any data groups or like yeah, or data communities that are in Abuja
Ah,
or maybe tech communities.
but tech communities in Abuja.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, there's Founders Friday.
Okay, where does that happen?
Every last Friday of the month. So they have like a physical event. So they use like different workspace events. And also I'm not really sure. I'm sure about Cafe One. So Cafe One does these events like frequently where they just like
Yeah.
weekends. But I
Yeah.
think like every Saturday they just have like random events, like meetups for people like in tech in Abuja as
Yeah.
well. And also if you join like there's this women in Data Africa. I think most of the time they usually have subsects like for different states where they just have
Yeah.
like 10 members in like different states
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But Founders
Yeah.
Friday is an amazing like I go there I go there like every month
Who is like the organizer for that?
for Founders Friday. I've
Yeah.
forgotten the guy's name, but
Is
like
it by
frequently this
a co-working space?
no,
Okay.
they are just organization, but but majorly they invite like very different people. They host like if you're a founder, most founders come there as well to pitch. And if you're also like a talent as well, like and you need a job, like so they have those events.
Just feel free to
Even most
talk.
of the event last year, this unicorn Iya Boyeji was in most of the events like last year. They invite like so many people. They invite Ask Sultan, like they have like different guests that come in like but it's like last Friday of every month and they have the
Okay.
event in Abuja.
Okay, so this is what I would advise. If you can just search Founders Friday Abuja on Google, I'm sure you'll see some results that would help you to understand like the
Yes.
organization that organizes it and how you can join. And someone is asking the one in Lagos. I mean, I'm based in Lagos. Like I said, Cafe One is a good one because they usually have a lot of like meetups, where
Yes.
you would meet people in tech. But you can also join different tech communities. I mean, most of them are based in Lagos, right? They usually have
Mhm.
their events in Lagos. So there is data African community. I'll also just try and list down all of this. I'm also part of Women in Data Africa. There is She Code Africa, right? You can also just follow them on their social media
I think
pages for
she
you to,
called us a section in Abuja as well.
yeah. So
Come
just
on,
follow them on social media so that you can understand when they have events and you'll be up to like,
there is
um,
this one by Samira, I've forgotten. Pass for her by this Samira,
yeah, I know her. I know
and
her.
she's in
Okay.
Abuja. Like I think most of them.
Okay, awesome. I will also just list down all of those things that you guys can, always check out. I think the final question before we call it a day. So someone is asking, how do I network with people without coming off as pushy or trying so hard? I'm happy to hear
Do
what you think, but I would also share how I would probably go about.
okay. So one thing is that I think it still has to do with putting yourself out there. Most of the time, because there are so many users on the internet, people are really careful. But one thing I've seen that works is that sometimes when someone tags me to something, I try and look at your profile. If you've not done anything, if, for example, you ask me a question and you know that I have like a paid consultation, but I've seen that, oh, this person is also putting in efforts, it helps me to actually reply you better. And also, there is one method that people use that it can be manipulative, but it works. It's, for example, now let me teach you, and you guys have to use Miriam for this for this sample. So if you work on any data, you've analyzed the data, just attach like a screenshot and tag her on Twitter. One thing, she's going to probably reply you, she's going to drop a comment, she's going to like or probably retweet because you've tagged her. And because you've tagged her, people on our own feed, they're going to see it as well. And if you just keep saying, oh, like, and this thing that people do, that they say, oh, my woman crush Wednesday is this so person, she does this. Most of these things, these are one aspect of networking. You doing the work, putting yourself out there as well, alongside with trying to, they'll say it's farming. It's
Well,
gonna be
okay.
called fancy, but whatever it is, you know what you want to get from it. But you know how to do all of these things. So, and also one thing I also do is that when these people have like communities, I try to like join their communities. If they have like paid events, if for example they have a workshop, if it's not expensive, I'll try and join, because that way, because you've joined, you say, oh, I love your session. They tend to listen more to you because, oh, this person even paid for something that I did or something. So I think that way, that is one way to network. Those are like very good ways.
Yeah, and I mean, I completely agree with everything you said. Actually, the last one around um WCW, this women's crush. There is a lady
Yes.
that did something recently, and she tagged me on LinkedIn, and my day was shitty. And when I saw that post, honestly, it changed the mood for that day. And you can see that she actually did a lot of research about me and also things she has learned from my channel. So it was like if she actually DM me, I'm going to respond to her,
Definitely.
right? And I think you probably like mention all the tips I will probably have said. And I think the last thing I'll also just say is like, it's not everybody you try to network with that also wants to
Definitely.
like network with you. And that is fine, to be honest.
Yes.
And I think for me, I just have that at the back of my mind when I'm trying to like meet new people that it's fine if this person doesn't want to like network with me. I will find my
Definitely.
people. I will find someone that would want to like get to like know me, see how we can work, how we can collaborate together, right? And I think another thing I also try to do is I try not to force things because I've just been doing reflections around people that they're now my friends and we probably met at events. And I just noticed that they try to connect with me in a less informal way, sorry, less formal way, right? No, oh, what do you do? So what's your 9 to 5? Like that kind of thing. It's probably we just connected because we both like coffee or because the person also enjoys swimming, like just something totally off work. I think that's usually like a low hanging approach to also just connect with people. And I hope all these tips make
I want to say
sense.
something.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. And also, I just want to add to what you've just said. So one networking mistakes that a lot of people make also is that, for example, you follow me on Instagram and the next thing is you requesting something from me, like asking me, oh, can you able to look through my LinkedIn or all of that? Most of the time, I would pay more attention to you if, for example, I've seen that even if it's 1 week that you followed me, you've liked my post, you drop a comment on my post. That way, I feel like, oh, this is like an active community member. This person is actually engaging with me. So it helps better. And also with the fact that you said not everybody wants to connect with you. But most of the time, if they see that you too, you are not just probably not just like a user 100%. Probably they've seen like if I come to your profile, I can see that, oh, you are doing some things as well. I would likely respond to you more than if everything about you is just blank and just feels like you're just asking me something. So I think
I get
just,
you.
just
I get
yeah.
you. I get you. Okay. I hope this makes sense, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this session. If you guys enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, your exes. So how can people connect with you? Then we can wrap this up.
Okay. I think my Instagram is the platform I use most. I use my Instagram, I use my LinkedIn. I also create like freelancing content
Okay.
on YouTube,
Okay.
like none of that. So my username on Instagram is Hauwa, and for other platforms, just type Hauwa Walabi, then you'll be able to find like my other platforms as well.
Okay.
So I think I use like
I'm typing that for people to see. Okay, I think that's pretty it. Thank you so much, guys. If we have any more questions, I'll be happy to respond. I'll also share with Hawal if she has time to respond. But thank you so much for spending more than an hour of your Saturday with me. This has been
problem.
really great. I've picked so many tips. Like this has been really helpful for me, and I hope people that are also watching on YouTube, they have. So thank you, and guys, thanks for joining us, and see you guys next time.
All
Bye.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.